Hey guys, it's Ashley and today we are in my kitchen slash dining room place. If you've been around for a while, you know that I am doing this Year of Dahl, trying to read all of Roald Dahl's books, and one of the books that I picked up was the Roald Dahl Revolting Recipes book. These are recipes inspired by his works. It was compiled by his daughter, not actually him. So today I thought it would be fun to make something from this book, something that was inspired by one of my favorite Roald Dahl stories, Matilda. The thing we are making today is the thing that I have been wanting to make and try since whenever the Matilda movie came out, 1990 somewhere. And that is the Bruce Bogtrotter's chocolate cake. I actually know why it's called the Bruce Bogtrotter's cake, because it was actually Miss Trunchbull's cake, and Bruce Bogtrotter just stole it and ate it in that iconic scene.
Eat it! Poor Brucey.
So we are going to try this baking video thing, which we'll see how it turns out. I am not so good at baking. I am great at making boxed cake mixes. That is my baking forte. The last time I tried to make something from scratch was like a senior in high school. I found a recipe for cinnamon buns and I followed the directions exactly, and they just never cooked. Like never. I cooked them in the oven for like twice as long as you were supposed to, and they were still just a mess of dough. It was horrible. So we'll see how this turns out. It seems pretty easy. I did read through all the directions, but we'll see. There's always room for error. So the first step is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which we did. The second thing is to line the cake pan with wax paper and butter the bottom and sides of the paper. I've never heard of lining your cake pan with wax paper, so I'm going to skip that step, but I am going to butter the pan. Normally when I bake a cake, I use this stuff from Wilton. It's I don't remember what it's called. It's a baking spray. It's like any of those sprayable butter or oil things that you use for cooking, but theirs is specifically for baking and specifically for cakes, and so it's got like flour in the mix, and it's the best. But of course, I don't have any of that right now. I do need to get some because I'm doing my brother's wedding cake next week, which is super exciting. So we're just gonna make sure that this is all buttered up. Now we are melting the chocolate in a Pyrex bowl set in a saucepan of simmering water or in a microwave on low heat. So we gotta go over to the stove. Okay, so we have our saucepan with water. This is the part that I'm not so sure about. We're supposed to put a Pyrex dish over it. So I think this is just so that like the chocolate doesn't burn is why we're doing that. We are starting with 8 ounces of good quality semi-sweet chocolate. These bags are 12 ounces, which means I need a little bit less than the whole bag. Do I have a scale? Absolutely not. With liquids, 8 ounces is 1 cup. Is it the same with chocolate chips? Who knows? You're not even seeing this. I should do this in front of you, which is so difficult. Look at the chocolate chips. The way I look at it is like this. If the chocolate doesn't seem like enough, I'm gonna add more, because I don't think you can have too much chocolate in a Bruce Bogtrotter chocolate cake. So we're just gonna add, whoops, it's raining chocolate chips. Yeah, sure, that's good. So we need this to melt. So the water hasn't even gotten to the point where it can melt the chocolate yet. So I'm gonna let this sit for a second, and I'm gonna get some music. Not even starting to melt. So while we're waiting for this water to boil, because waiting for it to boil is not fun for you or me, and like they say, a watch pot never boils, I'm gonna put on a little Hamilton and pretend that I can rap. We're gonna play my favorite one. One of my favorite ones.
I imagine that so much feels like a memory. When's he gonna get me? In my sleep, 7 feet ahead of me. If I see it coming, do I run or do I let it be? Is it like a beat without a melody? See, I never thought I'd live past 20. Where I come from is only getting half as many. Ask anybody while we live it fast, and we laugh, reach for a blast. We have to make this moment last. That's plenty. Scratch that. This is not a moment. It's the movement. We're all the hungriest bubbles for something to prove. When folks oppose us, we take an honest stand. Roll like Moses, claiming our mom's land. And if we win our independence, then it guarantees freedom for our descendants. But with the blood we shed, begin an endless cycle of vengeance and death with no defendants. I know the action in the street is exciting, but Jesus, with me all the bleeding and fighting, I've been reading and
Well, that was fun. And our chocolate is finally starting to melt. See what Hamilton's good for? Killing time while you're making a chocolate cake. I mean, it's good for a lot of things, but that's one of them. I did realize partway through that song that I should probably listen to the Matilda soundtrack while I'm making this. So the next dance break will feature the Matilda musical. I don't know when you're supposed to mix in the butter, so I'm gonna add it now. I don't see why not. And I figure we should put it in chunks so that it melts faster. I left this out overnight, so it's super soft already. So it's not gonna take a lot to get it to melt. Which is why I kind of abandoned the whole put it in chunks thing, as you can tell. I'm so good at this. All right, and then this one we just do a half a stick. Yeah, that looks good. Lots of butter. Butter, 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 butter. Butter. So now we just kind of melt it all together. So I don't think I ever did a proper review for Matilda, the book or the musical, which I said I was going to do a compare and contrast thing, and yeah, I didn't do that. It did wind up in the, what was that, probably the February or March wrap up. I talked about Matilda the book, and I did draw a few comparisons to the musical, which was fantastic. I'm so glad I went. I saw that in January for my birthday, and it was everything I wanted it to be. The musical stays a lot more true to the book than the movie does, but the movie is just so iconically Matilda in my mind. It's still one of those movies, they play it a lot on, it's not ABC Family anymore, Freeform, and whenever it's on, I just have to stop and watch, because it's just so good. So we're getting there, it's almost melted. I'm going to turn down this heat a little bit. I also really liked how the play interpreted Miss Honey's backstory. That was really, really clever. Oh, this looks so yummy. Look at that. Just look at that. I haven't read Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory yet either. Sorry, that started off as a review and then it just kind of rambled on. I think that's what most of my talking in this video is going to be, is just me rambling on about Matilda and other Roald Dahl books. I'm so good at this. You're probably getting a lot of really unattractive angles of my hand. Alright, so step 4 is to transfer to a large bowl and add the sugar, flour, and lightly beat in egg yolks. Okay, going to shut it off, but I'm going to leave it on the pot for a moment while we go set up the eggs. So, let's go. So we're going to be mixing the chocolate into this big bowl. I feel like cracking eggs on camera is probably the most nerve-wracking thing ever. This is going to take a while. Alright, we've got one yolk. This is really riveting YouTube content right here. My mommy says I'm a miracle. It's a song from Matilda. If you didn't know, now you know. Have you guys ever listened to God's Property? As if you don't know, now you know. Glory, glory. GP, are you with me? Oh yeah, we had in church, we ain't go nowhere. Sorry, like I said, this video is going to be really weird. I have been absolutely exhausted working with kids all week, which was a blast, but it's also quite exhausting. Alright, so we've got the eggs separated. We're going to set aside the whites for something else later. And we are going to lightly beat the yolks. Lightly beating, lightly beating, light beating. Okay, that looks good to me. So we're transferring the chocolate butter mixture to a big bowl. This is quite big. I think this bowl is probably way bigger than I need it to be, but our medium bowl is dirty right now. Alright, so we've got the chocolate. We're going to add the sugar. We are doing 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons. I'm so good at this. So good. 1 cup of sugar plus 2 tablespoons. We've got this nifty cool little thing. That's 4 different spoons in one. So we're doing 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to reach in. I don't trust myself to pour the tablespoon. 1 and 2. And then the flour. I feel like there's not a lot of ingredients in this cake. I don't know if that's how most cakes are, but only a 1/4 cup of flour doesn't seem like it should be enough to do a delicious cake. This is why I'm not a baker. I can't even get the flour out of the stupid bag. I'm just gonna use the spoon and spoon it into the cup. A nice 1/4 cup of flour. And the egg yolks. Yolks is a funny word. Why is there an L in there? Okay. And so we mix, 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 mix. Oh, this looks like brownies. It's so thick and delicious looking. But it looks like grainy because of all that sugar. And it's just so thick and it smells wonderful. Alright, so that's what we got so far. Next, whisk the egg whites until stiff. Okay, this is the step that made me nervous because I've never done this. I also feel like this bowl is probably not big enough, but here we go. My whisk is ginormous and this bowl is not. We're gonna try it anyways. I feel like I'm doing nothing. Also, what does it mean when egg whites are stiff? Like, they're goopy. How long does it take to stiffen egg whites? These are the things I should have Googled before trying this. All right, hang on, we need a bigger bowl. Let's get another one of these white bowls. Gives us a little more room for the whisking. Of course that just happened. I have egg all over the floor. Really? I'll have to mop that after. Oh, it's on the seat too. So we're whisking the eggs until stiff. I have no idea what that means. You know what? Let's find out. Siri, how do I stiffen eggs? Oh look, there's a YouTube video. I'm just gonna keep whisking while I watch this tutorial.
Before beating, leave the eggs under the fridge for at least an hour. First of all, separate the...
Okay, so according to this video from Yellow Saffron, which I will link down below, I'm supposed to keep beating. It's going to get foamy at first, which it is, and then it will become white, but still like liquidy, and then it becomes white and hard to the point where if you flip the bowl upside down, it won't move. My hand's already tired. I'm gonna have a music montage while I try and stiffen these eggs.
Sometimes you have to make a little bit of mischief. Don't you find the life's not fair? It doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. Even if you're little, you can do a lot. You must have to do things like little stop you. Twist around and let them get on top you. Might as well be saying you think that it's okay, and that's not right. And it's not right. That's killing me.
Oh my gosh. Siri, how long does it take to stiffen eggs by hand?
Hi, I'm Amy from She Cooks, She Eats.
Hi,
And this
Amy.
week I want to talk about how to whisk egg whites.
Okay, so according to She Cooks, She Eats on YouTube, I think this is stiffened. I think my bowl is probably just too slippery to keep it in because she said if you do that and it droops, then it's the right consistency. Thank God. We've got it stiff. We're gently going to fold half of the whites into the chocolate mixture, blending thoroughly, and then fold in the remaining. Yeah, sure, that looks like half. The worst cooking show ever. Fold, fold, fold. It's really bad because this looks like whipped cream, and I had to really fight myself to not lick it off my fingers just now because my head knows that it's eggs, but my eyes are saying it's whipped cream. So that's a problem. I thought this was gonna be like really simple. This is not as simple as I expected it to be. Probably also why I stick to box mixes because my cake would have been like out of the oven by now instead of halfway stirred together. I think this is the last ingredient though. Yeah, after this we just put it in the pan and bake it and then we can work on the frosting. This is so bad, like I really just want to take a bite of this. But that's how you get salmonella. So after we mix this, we're going to pour it into the cake pan and bake for 35 minutes. There will be a thin crust on top of the cake, and if tested with a toothpick, the inside will appear undercooked, but it will get firmer as it cools, which worries me, frankly. There is no way this is all fitting in here. Maybe I should go get one of my bigger cake pans. Or we're just gonna go for it. It does all fit. Oh, that's so chocolatey. There we go. My battery is about to die, so I'm going to go charge this. I'll do the dishes, and then right before the cake comes out of the oven, we will make the frosting. So stay tuned. All right, the timer has gone off. It is time to take this baby out of the oven. Ooh, look at that thin crust. Not even gonna bother poking it because they said it's gonna seem underdone. See that? And now it says to let it cool in the pan on a wire rack. I don't want to go looking for the wire rack right now, so I'm going to just put it on the stove. I'm just gonna put it on this. Same premise as a wire rack, right? Okay, so while that's cooling off, we are going to make the icing. So for the icing, we are using a saucepan with a heavy bottom. I think this has a fairly heavy bottom. I don't know how you tell that. We are going to melt the chocolate with the cream. So we're using 8 ounces of the chocolate and 8 ounces of the heavy cream, stirring occasionally until it's fully melted and blended with the cream. So let's start with the chocolate. We're going to use, the rest of this bag that we used for the cake. And then I'm going to open another bag. Ooh, going all over the stove. And like I said, making Bruce Bogtrotter's cake, I don't think you can have too many chocolate chips. So we've got a nice full cup going in. A couple more for good measure. I'm going to turn this on to low heat. So I had to shut you off because the battery was dying. So while you were dying, I flipped over the cake to take it out of the pan because it was cooled. And this happened. And this happened. So apparently that whole it's gonna seem like it's not cooked but it's going to be fine thing was a lie. That's not cooked at all. That's straight batter. There's no way that's going to thicken up. Look what it did to my stove. Now there's no point in making the frosting because that is ruined. I was really excited about this. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a little piece of this and our piece is pretty good. But that, what is that? It's not cooked. Okay, so this was a fail. Except for the crust. I'm just going to pick off all the crust and just eat that. I don't need frosting because there's all this uncooked batter. So, thanks for watching. I hope you liked this total fail. I really wanted this to work because I was really excited to eat this cake, but clearly I could not bake or the instructions are wrong. So, thanks for watching. If you've ever successfully cooked this, let me know down below what I did wrong. And yeah. I'll see you later. Bye. Right here it says there will be a thin crust on top of the cake. We got the crust. The crust looks delicious. Okay? And if tested with a toothpick, the inside will appear undercooked. Don't worry, the cake will get firmer as it cools. That's not firmer. That is definitely not firmer. It's all over my stove. That's not what it looks like. That's what it looks like. And the frosting hasn't even been made. Remember at the beginning of the video when I was talking about how the last time I tried to bake something from scratch was in high school and it just didn't cook? I'm having flashbacks. I learned how to stiffen eggs for you. You betrayed me.